So in this video, we are going to discuss one of the most interesting problem in algorithmic part. So that problem is known as most repeating majority element problem, or we can also call it as the majority element problem. There is a definition of what majority element is. Suppose you have given an array or a stream of n numbers, and one element of those numbers occurs more than n by 2 times, then we call it as majority element. So I am telling the problem statement again. Suppose we have an array, we are considering, suppose this is an array of 5 members, right? 2, 3, 2, 2, 4. So this array is of size n equal to 5. So we have to find the member, we have to find the element which occurs more than n by 2 times. Now there can be many processes to solve this problem. There can be many algorithms. So we will be discussing one of the most efficient algorithm for this problem, which is known as Moore's algorithm. So before jumping into that, let me tell you about the constraints. The constraints is the time complexity should be order of n and the space complexity should be order of 1. Now let's discuss about the possible solution. Possible techniques or possible algorithms that can solve this problem except Moore's algorithm. So one of the possible solution is through hash maps. Hash maps is just like table, where you have to construct a table of here is the element and here is the counter. So you can write 2 is occurring 3 times, 3 is occurring 1 time, and 4 is occurring 1 time. After that you can iterate over this and you can check if something is occurring n by 2 times, then you can return that. So this process will take order of n time as well as order of n space. So this is not a good process for solving this problem. Second process includes, this is the most common process that people prefer in interview problems, but there can be an optimized process that can be optimized algorithm, which is known as Moore's algorithm. So this method is to sort the array. Most of the people do a mistake that they do not consider the time complexity while sorting the array, because sorting the array also takes some time. And I can say it takes n log n time if you are doing by using inbuilt functions or you are just applying some algorithms. Okay, so it takes n log n time. Some algorithm means you can apply 2 algorithms here according to your choice. One is quick sort and second one is heap sort. So you can apply this, or if you are programming in such a programming language like C++ or Python, then you can use the sort function available in the C++ STL, and it will be available in the Python inbuilt. Okay. So this can be checked by sorting the algorithm. By sorting the algorithm, this can be sorted to 2, 2, 2, 3, and 4, and we can just group it like this occurred 3 times, this occurred 1 time, this occurred 1 time. So this can be done in order of n log n time and order of 1 space. Still, this process is not optimized because we need it in order of n time and order of 1 space. So let's see how Moore's algorithm can solve it. Let me write the given array so that I can just make you visually understand how to apply this algorithm. Suppose the array is 2, 2, 3, 4, 2. Okay. So what we are going to do in this algorithm, there are two steps involved in this algorithm. Okay. So the first step, you have to provisionally find the majority element, or the element which is occurring more than n by 2 times. You have to provisionally find, and to prove that it is occurring more than n by 2 times, you have to count it again by using any function in the second step. So this gives us a conclusion that in the first step we are going to create a function that finds the majority element, and in the second step we are going to count. We are going to traverse or loop over the entire array and check if the same element that we have found here is occurring more than n by 2. So it's pretty easy to guess that if we are going to traverse the array once, so this will take order of n time. Now the task is, we have to design an algorithm to find the provisionally majority element in order of n times, so that the total time complexity will be order of n, because these two processes are going in parallel. After this process is completed, this process will be started. So the time complexity will be of order of n, and we are not going to use any extra space here except the given array. So the space complexity will be order of 1. So the main question is how to find the provisionally majority element. It's also pretty easy if you are going to consider something that you have been using for years. How? Suppose you are going to consider this as the majority element. Okay. So the first element, suppose we are going to consider this is our majority element. Now what we are going to do, we are going to compare it with its next element. If they both are same, then we are going to increase the counter. We are going to run a counter 2 and we are going to increase the counter if both are same. If both are different, then we are going to decrease the counter. Now at the end of this loop, we will be reaching a position where the counter is 0. This means we need to shift our majority element consideration. I mean, we have considered 2 as our majority element, but when the counter becomes 0, we need to shift our majority element consideration to 3, because the counter becomes 0. Okay, not in 3, in 4. The majority element, the counter becomes 0. So now the majority element will be 4, and we will be considering, I will be comparing this across 2. So I'm going to show you in a better visual way, because I think we are missing here something. Okay, so let's assume 2, 2, 3, 4, 2. This is our given array. At the first, we are going to consider the heat element. Heat element is the provisionally majority element that we are considering. That is at the position 0. So we are going to consider the position 0. And the counter is 1, because we are already considered that at the position 0 the heat element is present, or the majority element is present. So counter is going to be 1. So with the first iteration, we are going to compare these two. Okay, so these two are same. We will be increasing the counter. The heat element will be 0 and the counter will be 2. In the next case, these both are not same. So the heat element will be again 0, but the counter will be 1 in these two cases. And after this case, you can see the heat element will be 0 and the counter is 0. Okay, so the catch is, in this case, we did not consider this case there in the last slide, so that give us an erroneous output. So here you can see the heat element is 0 and the counter is also 0. In case your counter becomes 0, you have to consider this edge case, or you can consider this if the counter is getting 0. I mean, there are no counter left and counter will go negative. So that means you have to change your provisionally considered element. So if you are going to change this provisionally considered element, then you may get the right answer. So now the heat element will be 0, 1, 2, 3. Heat element will be 3 and counter will be 1. Because we have considered 3 as heat element, we are going to compare these two. Now you can see the heat element is 3, but counter became 0 again. Again, we have to change the heat element because counter is 0. So now the heat element is 2 and the counter is 0. And we have to return 2, not the 2. This is the fourth position. So the heat element will be 4 because we are considering the position here. So now this function, this will return us 2. In the second function, we are going to check if 2 is occurring more than n by 2 times. So it is 5 by 2 is 2. Yes, 2 is occurring more than 2 times. So we'll be printing out. Okay, the answer is 2. Now the question arises, how to write the code for this problem? It's pretty easy if you have understood the problem statement and for the algorithm that we are following, then you can write the code like I have said. I'm just writing the pseudocode here, not the pseudocode, just the design. I have said there are two functions, one of which is going to return the heat element, and the other one is going to check the counter. So this is our print function. the print the majority element function. So what you are going to do, you are going to design void print majority element, which is taking an input array. You have to mention the I mean we are considering vector integer here, so you have to, this is the dynamic memory allocation part, and you can find that in our blogs too. So the vector integer part, we are going to pass array and now we are going to find the hit. This is the integer hit equal to, we are going to call another function which returns an integer, majority element finder. Okay, you can give the name as per your necessity, or as you understand the function part, or as the function works, it's up to you. So this vector integer, and we are going to pass array. So now this function will return the hit, and another function will be there which will be returning a boolean. So that function will check the counter. Okay, and in that function we are going to pass the array as well as the hit that we are getting from here. So if the boolean function is true, then we are going to print the hit. If the boolean function is false, then we are print there are no majority element. So I'm going to write one by one, write this code one by one, so you guys should try to understand. Okay. First function is this one. So this function is int majority element finder, and we have a vector integer array. Okay, so in this function, first of all you have to consider integer hit index. Hit index is the position where we are considering that our provisionally the temporary majority element is present. That is going to be 0 because we are starting from 0, and we are also considering a counter, as we are considering counter which takes a value 1. Why? Because we are already taking that the hit index is present at 0 position, so we are already considering one element already present. So for int I equal to 1 from I less than array dot size, because in vector we have to consider this function I plus plus. So inside the for loop we are going to check if, what we are going to check here, 2 2 3 4 2, if these two elements are equal. So we are going to check if array hit index equal array I. If they are equal, then you are going to increase the counter. Okay, if they are not equal, then you are going to decrease the counter. It's pretty easy, nothing you have to do. And after that we have to put this check that I have already said, that you have to check if the counter is 0. If the counter is 0, it means we have considered the wrong provisionally or temporary majority element. We have to change the temporary majority element. So here we are going to consider if the counter is equal 0, then we are considering then we are taking that the hit index with the current index, which is I, and the counter will be 1. And this comes to an end of this function, but the end of this for loop, and at the end of the function we have to return an integer. So in case of returning an integer, we are going to return array hit index. The final hit index, the final hit index position will be our answer. So this is how you are going to solve this problem, and this is pretty easy algorithm. I would like to suggest you guys that always try to focus on the most optimized way to solve a certain problem. Like this is the majority element finding problem, and the most optimized way can be done by Moore's algorithm. This is also known as Boyer-Moore's algorithm. So this is the best possible way. Other two possible way, which are the hash map and the sorting. These are also good possible ways, but these can be these are not most optimal, because the hash map takes order of n time and order of n space, and sorting takes order of n log n time and order of 1 space. But this algorithm, as you can see here, it goes from 1 to size, so the order will be order of n, and there is no extra space. In the second function, that the bool check counter function, this function also take order of n. So the total time complexity of this algorithm is order of n, total space complexity is order of 1. So I hope you guys have understood. You can check the code in the blog section, and all the description is provided there. This is only for your reference. I mean, just let you understand. So thank you so much for visiting the blogs.